Hortons Field in Hamilton, Week 15 of the CFL season continues with Zach Collaros and the Ticats looking to get back to the 500 mark against the best team in the entire league, led by Bo Levi Mitchell. The Calgary Stampeders haven't lost since Week 1. They are unbeaten in 12. They're riding a 10-game winning streak, and they will try to pad their lead in the West, but they will be doing so with very heavy hearts. It's their first game since the tragic death of their teammate Mylan Hicks, a defensive back who was shot and killed in Calgary last Sunday morning after they were celebrating a victory in their last game a week ago. Jamar Wall had worn number 29. He has now changed it to Hicks 31 as they will dedicate the rest of their season to him. And there will be a moment of silence as well at Tim Hortons Field before this football game, as there was last night in Winnipeg and will be later today in Vancouver and tomorrow in Montreal as well. Hi there and welcome as Week 15 continues on the CFL on TSN. Rod Smith along with Jock Climby and Milt Stiegel. In your pro careers, you had told me you'd never gone through something that the Stampeders are going through now, dealing with the death of a teammate. So I ask you only to speculate what you think they're going through as they have to play a football game today. Yeah, I think this is uncharted territory, certainly in the last 30, 40 years. I think it hasn't happened since the 70s that a team had to go through something like this. I can't imagine it. I've lost teammates in the offseason and certainly after their careers were over, and that's hard enough. I can't imagine in season. I think it'll be a situation where, as everybody's talking about, these guys will pull closer together. Yes. And they will try to find ways to deal with this. But it's just so hard with someone so young who had his whole life and football career ahead of him. So it's going to be hard on these Stampeders for some time.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And I had a situation, it was nothing like this, but my senior year in high school, at a basketball game, and I lost my father that day. And originally, I wasn't going to play in the game, but my mother told me the way you honor your father is you go out there and you play hard. And I think that's what these Stampeders are going to do. I don't even remember if we won the game, but I know I went out there and played hard because that's what my father would want me to do. And I guarantee you that's what Mylan Hicks and his family wants those Calgary Stampeders to do. Go out there and play hard and enjoy yourself. And the tributes keep coming in. His alma mater, Michigan State, later playing tonight, planning to honor him with his number on their socks as well. Let's go to a moment of silence in Hamilton.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you now rise, remove your hats, and join us in celebrating the life of the Calgary Stampeders' Mylan Hicks. Mylan joined our CFL family after signing with the Stampeders in May of 2016. He is fondly remembered by both his teammates and former opponents as a hard-working warrior of a football player and a true teammate on and off the field. The Ticats extend our deepest condolences to Mylan's family and to the Stampeders organization after this difficult loss. We now ask that you join us in a moment of silence in Mylan's memory. Fans, please join us now in the singing of both the Star-Spangled Banner and O Canada as we celebrate all of the players, coaches, executives, owners, and fans from the United States and Canada that make our league so great.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
We ask that you remain standing for the singing of the Canadian National Anthem by Nikki Whitehead.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, from far and wide. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
A tribute to Mylan Hicks, and you can see several of them by the Stampeders, by the Ticats, and by fans at Tim Hortons Field as they remember Mylan Hicks, and they play their first game since then. It is coming up, the kickoff here on TSN.
Hello, Canada, from a foggy, dreary Hamilton, Ontario. On this Saturday afternoon, the Calgary Stampeders and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Football is always a game of emotion. A lot more emotion riding on this game today.
That guy right there brings a lot of emotion every time he steps on the field. Simone Lawrence, the defensive team leader. They'll have eyes on this cat right here. Big Jerome Messam, who's had a difficult week and very close to Mylan Hicks.
Dave Dickinson and his Calgary Stampeders playing it out for Mylan Hicks. Prior to this game, Mylan Hicks' mantra, his motto was smack pads. That's what they want to do today. And Kent Austin, the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, banished from the sideline this week. His team facing adversity. He's upstairs coaching today. Orlando Steinauer, the defensive coordinator, will be on the sideline as Austin fined $10,000 for contact with an official. Will call plays from high above Tim Hortons Field as we kick it off here. Brett Maher. Quick hitter right away. Roy Finch knocked down at the 27-yard line, and the Calgary Stampeders, Bo Levi Mitchell, having a season for the ages. A team that's run off 10 straight wins. They're undefeated in 12.
Well, the guy is just absolutely straight up winner. That's all he does. 39-7-1 as a starter. Leads everybody in the history of the CFL with those numbers right there. Trying to continue his success against the Hamilton Tiger Cats here this afternoon.
Calgary team, 1st and 10 from their 26. They'll go over the top right away, and caught by Tavares Daniels, and a big hitter right away. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the Calgary Stampeders attack the linebacking crew of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, particularly the Sam linebacker playing his first game in Brandon Sermons.
Yeah, and if you're looking at this, I mean, that's exactly how they're going to fake the little run fake to Jerome Messam, who's got their attention. They slide in the hole behind him. Well executed. Great design.
Right into Hamilton territory. They'll throw again. They'll go to Daniels once more. Former Notre Dame product, Davaris Daniels, has only played a few games for the Calgary Stampeders, but he's had a huge impact as we take a look at the Horses offense.
Certainly has. Bo Levi getting it done with the running game. These guys right here, basically, without Marquay McDaniel and Anthony Parker over the last 4 years, it's a new crew. And then these guys up front, Randy Richards drawn in for his first start at right tackle for the Calgary Stampeders.
Second down and 2. The first give to Jerome Messam, and he plows away. He'll have the first down. The Brampton Beast comes back home. Jerome Messam, the CFL rushing leader, and Matt alluded to it. Been a very emotional week for Jerome Messam. Was right there that night that he lost his teammate, the shooting in Calgary. And Mylan Hicks very, very close to Jerome Messam.
Well, talking to him yesterday, Jerome Messam couldn't wait to get the pads on and start talking with them, and he does right there. Gets lower than the defenders, and that spells trouble for anybody in the Canadian Football League trying to tackle that big man. Well over 250 pounds, just a beast, and probably seeing the effects of that impact right there already. That's Emmanuel.
Emmanuel Davis.
It looks like a contact situation was good news for the Hamilton Ticats, who are already beat up. And in fact, talking about the Ticats prior to the ball game, they lose Michael Atkinson, third-year player from Boise State, a Canadian interior defensive lineman. An hour before the game, you can't replace that player, so they're playing with one Canadian short already.
Chris Davis comes in, Southern Illinois product, to take over for Emmanuel Davis. We'll watch Johnny Adams on the corner as well, just brought into the Ticat fold for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. First and 10. Mitchell over the top. Marquay McDaniel. First down. The former Hamilton Tiger Cat quiets this crowd, and McDaniel getting close to another 1,000-yard season.
Yeah, again, play fake, suck the linebackers in. This time it's Marquay McDaniel, the beneficiary of Hamilton's keen on the run, and Bo Levi Mitchell on target once again.
Calgary team that starts fast, finishes fast. That's why they're on this 10-game win streak. Hamilton team that sputtered out of the gate the last few games. Bo throws. There's McDaniel. Caught by two Cats, Chris Davis and Larry Dean, the middle linebacker. So it'll force a second down situation, and usually this means Marquay McDaniel time.
Yeah, it was great close by those two defenders. Interior right here. Check out Ted Laurent and Drake Nevis. They're going to make extra workload linebackers. We talked about Simone, Larry Dean, Valdosta State and Sermons playing strong side linebacker the first week. On the back end, Johnny Adams, as we talked. One practice, starting field side corner for the Ticats.
Second down and 9. Goes to the corner, finds Daniels. He's got a touchdown, and what a start for the Calgary Stampeders. Davaris Daniels puts it in the house, and Bo Levi Mitchell comes out throwing, and quickly the Stampeders strike.
Yeah, and he is atop of your screen, to the left of your screen, one-on-one, and Bo Levi threads the needle here because there's not a big window. It's really good coverage. He sits on the play. Vaughn does, and Cassius can't believe he didn't come up with the football there. A pick six going the other way. Daniels is in the end zone to Vaughn's disbelief. Great coverage on the play. Better throw and catch. Finishes it off for the Stampeders.
Stampede likes to go for two. And they will get the two-point convert. Kamar Jordan hauls it in.
Just sprinting around, making sure everybody's hot and lathered early on this first drive. Calgary knifing down the Hamilton Ticat defense, getting it done, making it look easy. Bo Levi Mitchell's on fire already.
Strike quickly, opening drive. How impressive was that?
6 plays, 84 yards, almost 4 minutes off the clock. Bo Levi Mitchell, perfect on the drive, and converted on a two-point convert.
goes nowhere. Glenn Love downfield very quickly, and Bo Levi Mitchell just perfect on that opening drive.
Yeah, and if this team was worried about their focus, I put it to rest in a hurry. This guy's running with a purpose. He told me that yesterday when I had a chance to chat with him. Bo Levi is just spreading the football around like he does all year, like he has all year. This one, but that ball was off the mark at all. Bond's going the other way with it, but Bo Levi really feeling it on that first drive.
Tavares Daniels, 5th CFL touchdown, knocked down and almost picked off. So Zach Collaros now looking to respond, and this quarterback matchup is a delicious one today. What a marquee with Bo Levi Mitchell and Zach Collaros.
And Michael Ford draws into the running back position, second-year player from LSU, and Terrence Tolliver back in the lineup. That's good news. And Childs in for a second week, 4 catches last week. 2 guys on the left-hand side doing an awfully nice job for being so young, making their 3rd start tonight.
Collaros batted down again. This time it's picked off. My, oh my, what a start here. Jagarrett Davis has the ball. Collaros is staying on the field. Are they saying that this...
No end. Hamilton. That penalty be declined.
Micah Johnson got his mitts up on that. Absolutely. 2 plays in a row. First time they're close to getting a pick after a batted ball. This time, Collaros looks left immediately. You check his eyes. If you're Johnson, he does. He gets his vertical on. And on the other receiving end, Jagarrett Davis gives Hamilton a real early leg up. Playing with a lot of enthusiasm, focus right now. The Calgary Stampeders on both sides of the football, and even on special teams, hemming in Banks on that kickoff return after their initial touchdown. Absolutely dominating this football game early.
Calgary plus 15, now plus 16 on takeaway giveaway, 2nd in the CFL. Looking to make the Ticats pay. Mitchell stands in. Jerome Messam brought down by Larry Dean. Will be a couple yards shy of making it a 1st and goal from inside the 5. The Stamps are rolling early on, and Mitchell's got loads of time.
How about that view right there? Little bird's eye view from the cable cam. Dump it down to your big back. Jerome Messam's been impressive out of the backfield this year. Dave Dickinson, when he played, he liked to utilize his backs quite often, and he's doing the same thing with Bo Levi Mitchell being his conduit, utilizing his backs out there in the football field.
6 minutes gone. Stamps looking to find the end zone again. They'll hand it off to Messam. Tripped up on 2nd and 3. May have picked up a half yard, so Bo Levi Mitchell's looking to the sideline. Will Rene Paredes come out and kick a field goal, or will they go for this? Looks like they're going to go after the points, or are they?
It's a nice job by Will Smith, 1st-year player from Texas Tech, making Jerome Messam go east and west as opposed to north and south with that big body. And when the big man's got to go to the sideline to sideline, that's when that defense quickly takes the advantage, and showed you right there. It's what you got to do when you're playing a big man like that who's so good north-south.
Paredes did not practice all week, and they're going to fake this. Drew Tate behind center. Tate will take it, and he will not get it.
Not even close.
Hamilton Tiger Cats read that perfectly.
Yeah, they certainly did. Took 3 points off the board, gambled a little bit, and lost on that payday. Hamilton coming up big with a huge, much-needed defensive stance.
So the Calgary Stampeders taketh and they giveth it back. Turnover on downs. Attempted the field goal, then the gadget play didn't quite work the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, great defensive stance, much needed. Gamble, Calgary did, took 3 points off the board, looking for more, and Hamilton's got new life.
Long field, though. Zach Collaros had 2 knockdowns. Previous this sequence. Michael Ford is the feature back for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. CJ Gable out of the lineup. Here is the defense for the Calgary Stampeders, and I would imagine again playing with heavy hearts this week.
Yeah, they are. Charleston Hughes, leader of that defensive line, 10 sacks in the season. Singleton's Canadian, playing in the middle, and that guy 31 wearing his teammate Marlon Hicks' number in honor of his fallen teammate Jamar Wall, very close to him, honoring his teammate in a big way today.
So 2nd and 9, 5-man rush. Caleros tries to sling it out. He does. And it's on the carpet, and it's a touchdown. Deontay Evans picked it up after they ripped it out.
He certainly did, and it was a nice pitch and catch by Caleros, and on the back end, instead of going for the tackle, just went for the ball.
Ruling on the field is a completed pass followed by a fumble, recovered for a touchdown.
Here it is again.
Ball's on the money.
Watt. I don't know. Did he have it though?
Yeah, that's they call that bang bang, and I don't know if you can get that ball close to his chest to secure it, and it was coming out already. Nice play by Evans.
Sure. Now this will be automatically reviewed. It is a turnover, and a turnover that led to a touchdown. But we'll see. Tom Valesi's our referee today.
Well, we know it'll be reviewed right away.
After review, it will be an incomplete pass. Be 3rd down, Hamilton.
So the Cats catch a break here.
2 breaks in 3 plays. On the attempted 3rd down fake, try to move the chains. Calgary did. They squashed that defensively, and then they catch a break on a touchdown defense for Calgary that's nullified on an incomplete pass.
They still, Matty, may give up some points here, though, because Brett Maher is going to be deep in his end zone. They likely, this is against the wind. Roy Finch is back, and this would give Calgary instant field position. So they may give up the deuce here and give it back to Calgary and try to win a battle of field position, because
good luck with that.
They have been penned right now early on. Maher is going to take a run.
I don't understand this.
Well, they are playing against the wind, and that might be an idea, but I agree with you.
I'm looking at the flags, and they're basically just straight down.
Straight down.
No wind out there whatsoever.
But 10-0 the score right now, and Calgary will get the ball back after the safety.
We're playing this game with no regrets. We're going out there and giving it everything we got. And guys, for Milan, hit the on button. I heard you guys say it. He had an on button. Go hit the on button, and it's game time. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family.
Well, safe to say, for Milan Hicks, the Calgary Stampeders hit the on button in a big way so far.
Yeah, they have, and it could be even more in their favor. They converted on that 3rd and short inside the red zone a couple possessions ago. And look to get good field position here, as this guy is pretty special on the back end.
Here's Roy Finch. Can't wrap him up. He has the outside edge, and Finch up near the 52-yard line. Let's go down to the sideline and to join Matthew Shinetti. Matt?
So much about feeling and family, what we just heard from Coach Dickinson. But really, maybe that all started with Renee Hill, the mother of Milan Hicks, who spoke to the Calgary Stampeders just a few short days ago. And every player who we spoke to said they could feel her energy, her strength. They said they took that strength from her because Renee Hill told them, "You're all my sons now. My house, my home. You're welcome to come anytime you want." You could hear it out of Bo Levi Mitchell, who said he called his mom immediately after. And Jerome Messams and Markway McDaniel both said when we heard that, we knew we had a lot more power. Guys.
Thank you, Matthew. Bo Levi Mitchell dumping it down to Jordan. And a late flag on that high tackle. Simone Lawrence Not liking that. This will likely add a few more yards on. Orlando Steinauer on the sideline, getting signals relayed from Kent Austin high above.
Major foul, head tackle. Hamilton, number 21, 15-yard penalty.
You really can't disagree with that when you look at the replay. That's the only thing he touched was his helmet and above.
Simone Lawrence, who plays with so much emotion, had a long conversation we did yesterday with Simone, talking about this team, about his friendship with Jerome Messam. They are friends, but they are enemies on game day. That's the way it works.
That's the way it should be. Nice to have that on and off button.
Bow over the top, and it's almost picked off. Batted down. Simone Lawrence right on that play.
Right on cue. Drops back into coverage, gets his left mid on it. He's right there to the right of the hash, barking out signals, plays the run, gets back to his depth, knocks the ball down with his left hand. That's doing it all right there for 21, Simone Lawrence.
Levi Mitchell's first incomplete pass after going 8 for 8. So a big second down here. Stamps have really utilized Marquay McDaniel's ability on second down. No one has more second down catches than number 16. This time he goes to Daniels, or make that Jordan, and he will be short of a first down by about 3 yards on the near sideline. So this time Rene Paredes will come out, and this will be a field goal attempt.
Here's Kamal Jordan. Hard to believe it's 3 years with the team. We didn't know much about the kid other than that he's lit it up the last couple of weeks and really making his presence known here.
Two teams that have had to plug and play because of injury and almost had to do something with their kicker this week. Paredes again, you can see him wincing a little bit, has had an issue with his groin. This is from the 41. The kick is up, and it is good. Gave the thumbs up in the pregame, and that was another one through the uprights for Rene Paredes. Zach Collaros looking to answer now. 13-0 Calgary. Cats have been slow starters this season. Need to get it going now. Well, last week in the loss against Saskatchewan in Regina, this play proved pivotal. Mike Filer whistled and flagged for moving the football. Kent Austin can't believe it. And then inadvertently, according to him, smacked an official, made contact with an official, was not suspended, but was fined $10,000 and moved upstairs. Cannot be on the sideline today. For some, felt that a suspension was necessary. There's been some controversy in the air. Orlando Steinauer will take over on the sideline today.
And no matter how you see it, very unusual circumstances for both of these teams coming into the game, each one dealing with a different issue, unprecedented on so many levels. And Ken Austin's trying to manage his team from up here where we're at, 25 steps to our left. And
does he have a nosebleed?
Yeah, and well, he's got an unlimited amount of pretzels anyways. And certainly Dave Dickinson guiding his team through some uncharted territories, grieving for their fallen teammate.
Brandon Banks picks his way close to the 45-yard line, and Hamilton Tiger Cats finally get a starting point here with 4:20 to go in the opening quarter. They have done nothing offensively, have hardly had the football. Collaros is 0 for 3 with a pick after a knockdown, a ball that was swatted away. And a Calgary defense that is foaming from the mouth right now. 13-0 Stamps. Show blitz. Collaros goes over the top and catching the football. Terrence Tolliver. First completion. Up near the midfield stripe. Terrence Tolliver has done nothing but score the ball.
Yeah, and it's nice route. Gets his defender out of his back pedal. Deontay Evans, and breaks a tackle and gets a few more. Happy to have him back in the lineup. Tolliver's lighting it up in the last 9 games. Doing everything he can to get this offense ignited.
A Hamilton team without Chad Owens and Luke Tasker. Again, a nice tight pass into a window for Andy Fantuz. Double team coverage again, another first down, and Fantuz has his first of the day.
Yeah, Andy Fantuz just running a curl route here, works really well back to the football because it's thrown on his inside, and he and the defender are basically getting there. Jamar Wall at the same time, and he goes hard to his inside, reaches out aggressive to the football, makes the catch.
Well, as bad as it's been for the Hamilton Tiger Cats to start this game, they can find a way to the end zone here and makes it a completely different story. They've got to get there, though. They send out 5 receivers. Polaris runs for his life, and he's brought down.
That's not something you see very often. Zach Collaros getting confused in the pocket and stepping up into it and then trying to abort once he does. Watch how he goes in his drop, steps up in a nice pocket there, and then he's running for his life as the Stampeders swarm him in a hurry.
Micah Johnson's 5th sack of the season. The Stamps come in 3rd in the league in sacks. Hamilton comes in 1st in sacks, but they give up more sacks than any other team. That's their 36th this season. Here comes a twist. There goes a flag. And another catch. Spencer Watt hanging on right at the first down marker, but we're going to have to see what the call is. We have a flag on the far side and also on the near side. And Spencer Watt is slow to get up. They're going to bring the trainer out.
Hey, make sure I get that personnel. Got the wind knocked out of him.
Offside. Hamilton number 15. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Johnny Childs, 3rd-year player, first with the Ticats. A little overzealous. It's going to negate a nice game for the Ticats. They're flopping the field very quickly here in their favor, which they need. That one's coming back. Watt just finds a nice soft spot there, and I believe it's just a little wind knocked out of him there. It happens to us all. Played the game long enough. Everybody's had that done to him. Take a little shoulder in the side there. Make you gasp for your breath.
Josh Bell, who's got that paint on, and MH for Mylan Hicks. By the way, his alma mater, Michigan State, playing in Indiana tonight, all also honoring Hicks, who wore number 6. They'll have helmet decals in that NCAA game, and black shoes and black socks. You can see the helmet decal for 31 for the Stamps this week.
Football world is a very tight-knit group, and you feel it, and all the love and support for the Hicks family, for the Stampeders organization, dealing with their loss. The Edmonton Eskimos honoring Hicks with the jersey displayed in their locker room as well. And absolutely
always an unimaginable tragedy that occurred last week after a win and celebrating that win, a night on the town, and Mylan Hicks certainly on the minds of so many in the Canadian Football League and really in North American football. He was a huge part of the Spartan program at Michigan State. And though he didn't play for the Calgary Stampeders, was a big part of the team.
And my fear, as it is many of the Stampeders, talking to them over the last couple of days, is there's a lot of support for the young man that was involved on the other end, and just fearful that there's going to be retaliation. I just pray and hope that that is not the case, and that calmer heads prevail. People understand that it's not the way to live life. Sobering moments for the Calgary Stampeders, Rod, and see a lot of the players honoring their teammate in different ways, and certainly the decal on the back of all the Stampeders helmets. And everywhere you look, the appreciation for young Mylan Hicks, taken away from us too soon, is being shown in many different ways.
Well, as they said to us yesterday, Bo Mitchell talked about it. You know, some people have different ways to deal with it. It will be emotional coming into this game. You know, Mylon Hicks will never be forgotten, but what Bo Levi Mitchell says, you know, his life outside of the game itself is forgotten when he gets inside the lines. But, you know, when you've had to deal with something that, quite frankly, nobody really has had to deal with, that has to be a really tough task. And a round of applause for Spencer Watt. He's up. He's all right.
I think that's what I've been impressed with the most, Rod, is how the Calgary Stampeder organization has brought in all kinds of help from all different types of avenues and areas. And the Hicks family came up and they had a service and an opportunity to grieve together and share together. And just proud of the Calgary Stampeders and how they've handled this entire unprecedented event.
After that offside call, it's 2nd and 21 back near the midfield stripe. 5 receivers set. Polaris now again, more pressure, and again hauled in by Fantus, but way short of the first down. He got to the initial line of scrimmage. However, there is a chance here that the Tiger Cats can put some points on the board.
Aaron Crawford, the long snapper's going out there. I see him. Is it for a field goal attempt or a punt? And it looks like a field goal attempt. There's Mahar right there.
He's had a very decent year, 30 of 36.
Guy's got a monster leg, too. We've seen a lot of that in this Canadian Football League. Medlock, Leone. These guys just light it up with their legs, make it look so easy. Get a lot of pop out of that leg they have.
48-yarder. Kick is up, and it is good. And the Cats are on the board here in the final minute of the opening frame. Down 10. And I know that Ken Austin up here in the booth is probably saying the same thing to Orlando Steinauer. You know what? Down 10, we'll take it right now. We could be down 20.
You got that right. 3 points at this point. Stop the bleeding. And Mahar certainly understands the importance of those 3 points and being on point with Andy Fantus as a secondary holder with Luke Tasker out of the lineup. They found a way to get it done.
So Stamps will scrimmage from their 35. 46 seconds to go. And again, it's been a tough road for the Hamilton Tiger Cats this season. Up and down. Peak and valley. 6 and 7 mark. Win, lose, win, lose. That's kind of been the theme. What has been really trending is their inability in the opening quarters to put points on the board. Only once this season have they scored 7 or more points. And this is going to be another occasion for another low-scoring first quarter.
Time count violation. Calgary number 19. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Boy, that just stings as a quarterback, just personally, let alone going against the team, taking the 5 yards back. Got to be in control of that. You don't see that too often. Bo Levi Mitchell at the helm. It's an embarrassment for quarterbacks when that happens. Some of them won't wear it. Some of them just refuse to let it happen.
Looks one way, and there is a rarity this season. Anthony Parker, who's had such a breakout year, right on the numbers, and that one dropped.
There's on top of your screen. I like to play fake in the backfield, play fake to Jerome Messam, and then swirl all the way around, do a 360, put it right between the 8 and the 6, and putting the cart before the horse. Anthony Parker running before he secures the football.
So 2nd and 15 could be the final play of this opening quarter, which has really been all Calgary Stampeders. More time for Bo. Far sideline. And making the move, but short of the first down will be Lamar Durant, the SFU product. Looks like he's going to be about 1.5 yards short. Zeros on the board, opening a quarter, 15 minutes complete. Calgary Stampeders galloping hard early on.
I like it, Ron.
Tough start for the Ticats. 13-3 for the visitors from Calgary. Calgary Stampeders 10 one quarter, and of course come in with heavy hearts, as we've talked about. Matt, life doesn't sometimes come with an instruction book on how you deal with something like this, what they've had to deal with this week, but clearly they're dealing with it in their own way, and that's on the field.
They're very navigates its way through these uncharted territory, and grieving, quite honestly, in football oftentimes in sport is an outlet, and it helps you focus. And right now the Calgary Stampeders are doing just that, focusing on playing the game, honoring their teammate, and job in the first 15 minutes.
So they came short of the first down on the final play of the opening quarter. So Rob Maver will punt for the first time. Back is Brandon Banks. Now, Banks, of course, is known for one thing around the Canadian Football League. Puts his mitts on the ball on a return. He has not returned a ball for a touchdown in 6 games.
They got pundit to him, though, does a great job of locating it. And he does a nice job there of giving his cover unit a very small field and window of opportunity for Brandon Banks to return it in, and they get down there in good fashion and hem him up.
Great special teams coverage by the Stampeders, and that's one of the things when you play against Hamilton. Contain 16. Very difficult to contain. So Zach Collaros, after that drive, his last drive, fell short, and they got the field goal. Trying to march a team again, saddled with injuries this week, with Chad Owens out of the lineup again, Luke Tasker out of the lineup again, no CJ Gable, but still have an impressive array of receivers. They'll send out 6 receivers. There's the blitz from the edge, and making the catch is Jasper Collins Jr. Junior Collins has his 3rd catch of the season.
Zach Collaros feeling it right here at the donut. Away, not so much. Numbers speak for themselves. It's pretty much been his place. 14-2 career here since this place has opened up, and struggled a little bit this year, in my opinion. Little inconsistencies. 3-4 as a starter since coming back off of injury.
They'll bring out Jeremiah Masoli for the quarterback sneak. It's going to be close here. He had to get beyond the 40. And we'll see where this spot is. They may have to do this one more time.
Well, I love what they did last week. Towards the end of that ball game in a loss to Saskatchewan, they put 4 receivers to one side, and Mazzoli took the edge and walked in for about 21 yards. And great game planning and offensive coordinating by Steph Potasic and Ken Austin. And there they just did it old-fashioned style, just shove it down your throat and make you like it.
Both of these teams in walk-off games last week on different ends. Cats losing on a walk-off field goal by Tyler Crapigna and Regina. Stamps won thanks to Rene Perez and Collaros. Oh boy. He was hunted down, knocked down.
He certainly was unabated to the quarterback in a screen. So Zach is already in a back pedal mode, and he just got rid of it.
Well, that was very close. Brandon Smith has him in the crosshairs here, and
that'll add up. Those crunches, and that turf doesn't give much. Somebody's entire body weight, no matter whether it's Brandon Smith or not. That hurts.
They'll go double tights here. Second down. Collaros now, more protection. Far side. Oh, what a hit.
Deontay Evans just feeling on that field side corner. Long throw, balls in the air. He's looking in the whole time. It's the advantage you have when you play the field side corner. About 41 yards away, Zach Collaros just zips it in here. Second receiver in. He's going to kick right out in the flat, pull the underneath coverage. Deontay flips his hips and goes, makes a nice sure tackle in open field.
Mike Jones, the rookie, 3rd-round pick, born in Bryan, Texas, but has Canadian ancestry. And kick out of bounds. Maher will put it down near the 20-yard line. There is a flag. We'll sort it out when we come back. How about this guy? Bo knows winning. That's all he's done. Continues to win. .26-year-old Bo Levi Mitchell out of Katy, Texas. And already putting his name among some of the greats in Canadian Football League history. How about Warren Moon, Kenny Plain, Bo Levi Mitchell for the longest undefeated streaks by a quarterback? Bo Levi Mitchell could join Warren Moon today, Matty.
No, that's just
that's crazy stuff.
Kenny playing 4 Grey Cups, and for him, and I'm just amazed at one, the company that he's keeping, and watching him from week to week as we see this unfold in front of our own eyes.
And how about what's unfolding with Jerome Messam? A year the Calgary Stampeders lose John Cornish to retirement, one of the greatest Canadian backs of all time. Jerome Messam picks up.
Yeah, and he's like a dual,
takes off.
He's like a dual threat. It's by land or by air. The guy's getting it done, and there, nice screen, got people out in front of him. And that's the last thing Jerome Messam needs at 6'3", like 255. He didn't need an escort.
Mitchell has his man, and it is picked off. Emmanuel Davis hasn't been touched. Is there a whistle? Yes, there is a whistle. And the crowd's so loud that some of the players did not hear the whistle. And Emmanuel Davis, first pick, Bo Levi Mitchell in over 120 attempts. And Emmanuel Davis has number 5 on the season. Big turnover, Ticats.
Only DB to start all the games for the Hamilton Ticats in 2016. Emmanuel Davis gets his 5th interception on the year, giving his defensive backfield 9. Ball's thrown on a corner route to Parker, kind of floats a little bit. Emmanuel Davis outplays Anthony Parker to the football. Never a good sign for a quarterback when that happens with your receiver. But E. Davis has been ball hawking all year, having a heck of a season, all-star season, and got a much-needed turnover for the Ticats.
122 attempts without an interception by Mitchell. Fatouz, brought down by Bell, will move the chains.
Andy Fatouz, 11th season out of Western. I think he's getting better with time and age. Really, he's picked up his game, and obviously health has got a lot to do with that, but I also think his training technique and the way he's taking care of himself, he's got that bounce back in his step. He's right there for Zach Claris on that play.
Fatouz, a 100-yard game last week. First time in 27 starts that he got to 100 yards, and that's an incomplete pass. One of the things perhaps for
from Tolliver.
Yeah, for Fatouz might be the fact that with no Owens or Tasker, guess what? 83's workload picks up.
Step it up. You know, I mean, yeah, he went down low, which he had to, and in the process, he's a big man, 6'4". I call him 6'4" goodness. Not so much on that play. Big-time playmaking for the Hamilton Ticats. Need to come up big because these second and long situations are killing this offense.
Second down again. Throwing down for Claris. Has protection. Over the top for Fatouz is going to be short of the first down. Had to get to the 54, but let's see what the spot is.
Not getting a very good spot here either. I thought he was further than that, and then he got hit backwards, and it looks like about 1.5 yards short. Andy's just coming up. Last one out of the bunch. Formation. Everybody else clears the way, and
Fatouz, a perennial 1,000-yard guy at one time, not in the last couple of years, and so they decide that they're going to kick.
Yeah, Rod, you know, that second and long situation just crushes you. Zach Claris went back to the first game, talked about it. All he remembers is second and long situations, and that's what we've seen so far in the first quarter and a half.
Roy Finch trying to motor near side up near the 24-yard line. 9.5 to go, second quarter. Big man's back home. Jerome Messam, CFL rushing leader. 3-3, ready to roll again. Week 15 in the Canadian Football League continuing this weekend, and coming up at halftime, Matty D. Precision playbook on the 7 or the dig route.
Yeah, good little digging. Yeah, baby, that's a great route. That's a fun route to throw as a quarterback, too.
Bo Levi Mitchell, let's see if he works that dig route here. Keep it on the turf. To Messam. So who was the best digger out of all the diggers you've thrown to?
I got to say, Brian Kelly, David Williams, D.K. Smith, Rick brick house.
You threw it a lot.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. I threw a ton of them.
Continue to the next corner.
Oh, Rogovich, I'll just keep going.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's ridiculous. Earl Winfield, I caught Earl at the end of his career and only got 5 games with him. That guy was a man amongst boys. Hall of Famer, played with a lot of them.
Kind of like that guy in the backfield, Jerome Messam, man amongst boys. Mitchell over the top.
Why, Daly?
What a knockdown by the McMaster Marauder. Mike Daly, free safety for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and forces the Stampeders punt team on the field.
Watch him come get it. Chicks coming off the edge, applying the pressure. Jordan going to the corner. Sermons is beat, but look at Daly, close ground. That is just getting on it and making it happen. Gets his fingers up, uses his tall frame, high balls it, knocks it out of bounds. Mike Daly, great play. Otherwise, that could have gone the distance.
Well, a Hamilton defense ranked number 1 in giving up yards. Now Banks. And he's sandwiched at the 40. The Hamilton defense keeping the Cats in at 13-3. Let's go to the sidelines once more. The intrepid Matthew Shinetti.
Rod, you mentioned it earlier in the broadcast about Ken Austin, the situation the Ticats have to deal with on their sideline. So Orlando Steinauer, obviously the defensive coordinator, is taking a lot of the role of being a head coach in terms of spotting, calling punts, obviously doing a lot of talking amongst the other positional coaches. And Jeff Matthews is doing a lot of what Ken Austin would do, added to Austin's role, obviously, of calling plays, which he's doing from the spotters booth. Jeff Matthews calling a lot of personnel packages. The only disadvantage to this, of course, as Simone Lawrence explained to us yesterday, is that Coach Steinauer will get less time with the defense, but he doesn't think it'll be a problem, guys.
All right, thank you, Matty. That's a great point, as Tolliver makes the catch on the far side. Well, one thing that Ken Austin is not dialing in is a running play. We haven't seen any yet.
No, just one carry for Michael Ford for 1 yard, and really an unbalanced offensive attack right now, relying on the air attack and putting themselves a lot of second and longs. That time picked up 8.5 yards, putting himself, in a controlling situation.
5 receivers set, and they got the Stamps bit on offside, and no, they're saying, and Micah Johnson saying, my bad. Thought for a moment might be procedure. Looks like it's offside.
Yeah, it was great voice inflection by Zach Collaros. I could hear him from up here. We're 7 stories
Offside.
up.
Calgary number 93. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So I can imagine it's even when you're just a few yards and steps away from the quarterback and that voice inflection, how that can influence you. Second from the bottom of the screen, watch him just whoop. He's just supposed to watch the ball, and he got dialed in to listen to Zach, and Zach said, thank you very much.
Micah on the sideline now. Former Cincinnati Bearcat Zach Collaros throwing again, sideline, and the catch
Childs
completed to John Childs, the former Toronto Argonaut, also spent a little time in Saskatchewan, and now is with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and their depleted receiving corps with injury.
I like that. Timing there was magnificent. Again, nice pickup. Zach Collaros, little point fake of the run game that's non-existent. So I don't know how much of an influence that is on the linebackers to this point, but threw a nice strike to Childs, putting him in second in management.
Again, Michael Ford, the tailback, stays into block, and they got the first down for Spencer Watt. Wrapped up, ripped down by Joe Burnett. Sticks will move again. Fresh set of downs for the Cats.
You said the name Spencer Watt. It's good to see him back out there. Bounce back. Got his air back.
He's had an adventurous game, to say the least, early on here.
Well, you see Zach just slinging it. All different angles. There's another one.
Play action. This time Childs caught by Burnett for what looks like a loss of 1, maybe 2.
Just Zach, I said he's slinging it because his arm slot, it's really down low, and he's throwing flat-footed off his back foot from different angles, and people often ask, or wonder or watch him in amazement. How does he do it? He practices it.
Well, he's an ex-baseball player too. He told me one time, he used to throw from those slots. You know that. You're a ball player yourself.
Yeah, you have to, and you master it. And we're watching that right now.
He's got everybody up there, but nobody home. Oh, he's in trouble. Now he's dancing. Polaris over the top. It's caught. But short of a first down. Kind of alley-ooped it in for Andy Fantuz. Zach Collaros was about 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
And he's going to show his athletic ability, keeping his eyes downfield, trying to track somebody. Goes to his left, not there. Cable Camp says, come back to me. Off his back foot again, finds Fantuz. He snares him, but 2nd and 12 doesn't pick up enough.
So once again, Fantuz stays in. Keep in mind, too, that Brett Maher is working with Fantuz the last couple of games with Luke Tasker out. So Maher trying to make it 6 now for the Ticats. This from the 43. The kick is up, and this is curling, and it's in. How about that? Just puts it through the uprights. For a moment, that looked like it might have been wide right, and Brett Maher makes it a 7-point game. Well, coming up, Brad Sinopoli and the Manny Show. Red Blacks and BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, no doubt, have an eye on that game. The battle in the East.
2 big physical receivers right there highlighted in that football game. Playmakers in their own right. Manny Show and the Sinopoli way that he attacks the game, it's worth the price of admission.
So the Tiger Cats unable to find the end zone yet. The Stampeders found it early. The way this one began, you might not have thought that we would have a 7-point game at this stage. Nessum barrels it. Sean Chick pounds him down. There was some concern that Jerome Messam might miss this week.
And justifiably so. At the tail end of this run, the ball's trying to be stripped from Jerome, and it spins him around. And watch his head snap into the turf. And they went through the concussion protocol all week long. And
he cleared it.
Jerome was cleared, and we're dealing with some other issues on top of that. So good to see him getting the ball, taking care of business for the Stampeders.
Again, play action, and again, Bo Mitchell is going to get the benefit of a flag here. DPI call downfield.
Yeah, Cassius Vaughn was on tight coverage, and nice little out move and up, and he grabbed the receiver as he was going by.
Not had a lot of penalties in this first half.
Hamilton, number 24. Spot a foul. Automatic. First down.
That's a key one.
Yeah, a little matchup here. This is what it's all about. Nice inside release. Grabbing him downfield. Got to let go of that. He was right in his hip pocket.
Orlando Steinauer is challenging this. And we talked with Kent Austin yesterday about, one of the benefits of being upstairs is that he gets more looks, closer looks as a head coach to potential replays.
Hamilton is challenging the ruling of pass interference, where we'll review the play.
And I credit the Hamilton coaching staff for getting that done so quickly in that time frame in which they have to work with their very short window and small window. And you can see Cassius Vaughn on the release. His right hand is on the left shoulder of the receiver, and that's too far down the football field, and you're going to get called for that every time, in my opinion, although it didn't impede him much, just the optics alone.
But command is going to see that, and there's not a chance that that's going to be overturned.
I agree, and but it's good coverage. I love the release by Daniels. Let go of him. You're already 10 yards down the field at that point. You're in his hip pocket. Get eyes to the football at that point and make a play. I think everything was done right there by Cassius Vaughn.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Hamilton will be charged their first time out.
Yeah, that's that first one now that you lose, and I'm not sure even if Kent Austin actually signaled it. The way that Orlando Steinauer went to that yellow flag right away, it was in front of their bench.
So I give him too much benefit of the doubt how quickly they made that call.
Well,
Orlando said, "You got this flag, I'm going to use it."
Yeah, I'm going to use it. I haven't had one of those before.
A lot of people are saying you better get used to him on the sidelines in the head coaching position, because
totally agree with you.
A lot of people think that he's going to be the next one.
And a bubble screen intended for no one in particular. There was nobody there.
That's just
Bo Levi Mitchell was completely harassed on that play.
Yeah, Orlando Steinhauer and his defense were in the playbook of the Stampeders that time, read it for him and defended it with precision.
Well, the full house here in Hamilton, amping it up now. 3-minute warning before halftime. 13-6, Calgary Stampeders.
3 minutes to halftime. Rod and the boys back in the studio getting set to talk about this game. Okay, we'll talk about that, what they've been doing well. Also, Bo Levi Mitchell and what it takes to win. Rod, we need our quarterback back.
Okay, I'm not sure what. Oh, yeah, well, we've seen a few knockdowns like that. Thank you, Rod. Jock and Milt coming up. Key 2nd down and 10 for the Stamps. Here comes the rush. Mitchell goes deep, takes a shot. It's caught. It's a touchdown for Tavares Daniels. What a toss. Pinpoint to Double D for the TD.
Fifth TD. Check him. He's just going to run. I'm telling you, he's going to get up here. He's going to push the defender. Then he's going to go to the post. I love the patience here. We saw Climby not have patience in the studio with Stiegel in coverage, and the ball's batted out. But he simply moved the defender beautifully there, widened the field, made the throw easier for Bo Levi and Johnny Adams, who's put in a tough spot playing a field side corner, 1 practice under his belt. That was just man-to-man coverage, and DeBar's schooled him on that play.
Tavares Daniels' 2nd touchdown of the game.
6th on the year.
They'll go for 2 again. Just when it looked like the Ticats were getting some momentum, Bo Levi Mitchell ignites his Stampeders once some more.
He's not happy. Boys, come on, baby. He
wanted that. Kamar Jordan can't get to that.
Yeah, and that's when a quarterback is throwing a receiver to an open spot, and Bo, and Bo is trying to get him to open, but he tries to flip his hips, and he wanted to just kind of do a center field turn, and they're on the wrong page there. But beautiful throw and catch to Bo Levi Mitchell to DeBarris Daniels, first-year player from Notre Dame, making that look easy. Love to see the long ball.
Well, how about DeVaris Daniels? 4 catches, 114 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and Bo Levi Mitchell just lays it in.
Sling it.
Boom. Johnny Adams in the rear view mirror.
That is fun right there. You know, oftentimes you don't get a lot of opportunities to work on the deep ball in practice because it takes so much out of you. So you're doing a lot of tail enders, and a tail ender is when you have a receiver like about 40 yards downfield. When you get to your drop, he goes, and then you launch it. Boy, that's beautifully done right there.
Stampeders did a lot of that last season, of course. Last couple of seasons, Bo Mitchell combining with Eric Rogers and Jeff Fuller, who just signed with the Saskatchewan Roughriders today.
How about that football team stacking it up late here? A couple wins in a row, getting healthier on the defensive side of the ball, getting a nice addition with the rush in, now wide receiver this week.
Native of Vernon Hills, Illinois, DeVaris Daniels, father who played in the National Football League, a D lineman for 15 seasons with the Eagles.
That's a long time playing D-line. That's taking a lot of abuse and delivering it too in the interior.
His son bringing it in the Canadian Football League.
He is.
Fantus lunges ahead, stretches for more yardage, as the Cats in 225 trying to put more points on the board here.
Yeah, that's decent first down production, but hey, I just credit the Calgary Stampeder organization for continuing to go out there and replacing people like the 2 that they lost last year, and having DeMaris Daniels step in this year and not miss a beat.
So Colaros changes the play with the audible, has to hang in, steps up, and Spencer Watt took another hard shot.
Oh, he did.
He gets up, and it looks like the Stampeder got the worst of it. That's Duron Mayo, and it looks like this ball's going to be placed right near the first down marker.
Man, I heard that one from up here, Rod, and I felt that one was tough.
Zach Collaros getting up as well, last moment.
Well, he threw that across his body in an awkward position, so he might have caught a little shrapnel there in the pocket.
So it'll be 3rd down, so Masoli will come out. Collaros will go to the sideline, and still plenty of time. Has to get that 2-minute offense clicking here.
Here's a look at Collaros in the pocket. Watch after he throws the football. He's going to step up, and he's going to throw across his body from right to left. Right here, and then, yeah, there's the hit. Oh, and then he's taken right there. Charleston Hughes getting a little free shot.
Hurry, go!
They throw the football to Brandon Banks.
Oh, that's pretty.
That's a gutsy play there, but if Banks gets outside, he's gone.
Deontay Evans, who's had a phenomenal first half, really made it better in a lot of plays. He doesn't. They pick up the first down, but I credit him making that open field tackle, because that is like trying to catch lightning in a bottle right there. And corralling Brandon Banks with his speed and explosiveness.
Trying to catch a shadow, and Evans, huge play, because Banks gets that corner. You're not catching him. Interesting call for the Cats. Keep this drive going on 3rd down.
I love it.
Collaros back in.
Man, that is one of my favorite players this year. That is Alex Singleton coming and bringing it, saying, yeah, that's right, I'm here. He is just a phenomenal football player. Took the middle linebacking position away from Reed this year, made him expendable. What a ratio buster he is.
Almost. Joshua Bell, as they were bringing the house on 2nd down. It's going to be 3rd down with 1:07 to go. And it looks like the kick team is coming out.
They're all coming in hard. And now get your hands up. They're looking for a batted ball there. They're not trying to get to the quarterback. That was a designed defensive play to attack all the gaps and get your hands up and try to swat the ball down.
How about that throw by Collaros, though? He was so fortunate that was not intercepted.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple batted balls early in the football game. First series, in fact, 2 of them, and then we got a pick off of it.
They're going to try a field goal here. Now, Brett Maher's longest field goal made is 56 yards this season. This one is 58 with the wind. Saw him do it in the warm-up. The kick is up. It looks like he's got it. He does. Somewhere at Tim Hortons Field, Paulus Baldwin, who's here today,
he's right over there,
is smiling. That was an Aussie leg boot from Brett Maher. 58 yards.
There's a young man on the field today getting shown around by special team coach Jeff Reinbold, and he got to meet Brett Maher, and he was enthralled by how he punts and kicks the football, and good reason why he's got a magic leg.
Great job.
Well, that matches the 58-yarder that Justin Medlock had for Winnipeg earlier in the year. Longest field goals of the season. 62 yards is the CFL record. Paul McCallum still stands, but that was a bomb.
Oh, my goodness.
And what a catch. Downfield quickly, making that grab, and Bo Mitchell still slinging as he hits Jordan in stride.
Double post, and Bo Levi throws this one. Second man in, top of the screen. Ball's out already, and it arrives as he hits that little window. That's just great anticipation by the kid from Katy, Texas.
Just after the Cats get that field goal and get the building, Bo Levi Mitchell did that to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers last week, remember,
15 seconds. I mean, I mean, just like, get your heart just pulled right out of your chest if you're the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, because fought back in that football game from 27 points down, and then you go up late, 15 seconds on the clock. Bo Levi does some magic.
2nd down and 9. Clock ticking down, trying to set it up for Paredes. An audible again from Mitchell. Bo, there comes the rush. Goes deep once more. It is knocked down for Durant. And Emmanuel Davis has had a smoking first half.
He and Deontay Evans for the Calgary Stampeders surviving for the player of the game right now. And for this right here.
Another good toss.
That is right on it. I mean, he played that ball perfectly because I guarantee it, Durant thought he had high pointed it and had a clear shot for possible 6 points. And Emmanuel Davis having a whale of a first half.
So after Brett Maher sets a new Hamilton Tiger Cat record for longest field goal, 58, Rene Paredes here to match that field goal. And this kick is good. So the kicker is putting on a show in the dying minutes of the first half.
They really are, and it's fun to watch when these guys are on their game. We've got some tremendous kickers and punters in the Canadian Football League right now, and they're all lighting it up. But Emmanuel Davis quite possibly took points off the board for the Calgary Stampeders. And Rene Paredes says, "I'll get you 3."
So the lead again, 13. And Bo Levi Mitchell just having another one of those.
Look at it, he knew.
Bo days, is he not? He showed those numbers before and what he has done to start his career. Just absolutely remarkable. Still so young. A win today would be his 40th. He's 39, 7-1.
That's a career for a lot of guys. But he is setting a precedent high. And he talked to Bo Levi Mitchell and was talking to some of his teammates and coaches about him. How can you not? Dave Dickinson, his mentor, John Huffnagel, in a position to lead. And he also talked about the environment that is just phenomenal. And you got to throw in a Ryan Dinwiddie, and Mark Mueller's been there now for 3 years. All these guys are creating an environment for Bo Levi Mitchell to excel in, and he's taking full advantage.
840 winning percentage. By the way, there's Doug Flutie up there and others.
I want to go back to that if we can. Maybe in the second half, we'll take another peek at that board. Let you take that in a little bit more because that is special.
All right, so 7 seconds to go.
I was thinking Mach too.
22-9.
I said no. Held him
You
here.
take a knee and get ready for the second half.
Yeah, I just want to take a peek at that board right there again, what this guy's been able to do. He's upset he didn't do more in the first half, but it's been pretty special. Look at those numbers. Jeff Garcia, Tom Wilkinson, Moon, Dickey, Doug Flutie. You did it better than anybody. Man, that's just a special name right there.
He would be the fastest ever to 40 wins. And they are 2 quarters away from that. So they're going to keep it on the ground, just their second running play. And time ticks down to 2. So one more shot here.
That's kind of misleading stat right there when he gets the ball in this situation. I mean, they have to establish a line of scrimmage right now, in my opinion, because field goals are not going to cut it against this football team. And you have to establish a line of scrimmage and not be one-dimensional.
Here's an interesting number for you. Since July 2012, the Calgary Stampeders, when they score 30 or more points, which they're 8 points away from, are 43-0.
I'll tell you
That's the game plan. Don't let them get 30.
When the Hamilton Tiger Cats have been trailing at half 9 times this year.
That was a forward lateral on that play by Fantuz. So you can't end on a penalty, but they might end it here with zeros on the board. Interesting how they did throw that out for the hook and ladder play. Decided to run on that first play.
Yeah, the 9, getting back to the point about Hamilton trailing at half in the 9 games this year. And
We have an offside pass, Hamilton. The quarter is over. The half.
They're 3-6, Rod, and when they go into half with the lead, they're 3-1 right now. It's not looking for Ticats.
And the Stamps 8-1 when they lead. They lead right now. As we send it back to Rod, the guys in the studio.
Thank you, Rod. And those guys are Jock Climby and Milt Stegall. Wow, Calgary Stampeders, we've seen this pattern so many times. Yes, playing inspired football today, but really no different than so many times we have seen when they start strong. Let's start with the offense. I mean, good opening drive from them. Many things they do very well.
Yeah, and we know they run the ball well, and they have the league's leading rusher. So how do you take advantage of that? Play action. And Calgary Stampeders do it better just about anybody, and they did it really early in this football game. You got a post pattern by Daniels. Watch how they take the fullback to draw out the Sam linebacker, and then watch how play action affects Simone Lawrence, the middle linebacker. Sucks him right up, and what do you see here? Throwing lane. Perfect throwing lane to throw the post, boom, big first down. Here you see a similar type of play. Marquez McDaniel coming out, and he's going to dip back into the post. Watch the play action, suck up Simone Lawrence, out of the middle, throwing lane right there, and what do you do right now on the smash route? Hit it. Big first down again. Now, Simone Lawrence, not a stupid football player. In fact, he's very good at what he does. He's seen this play before. He's like, wait a second, I'm not falling for that again, and he's back in the throwing lane. The ball was a little bit late on that one, but it's about using play action and then seeing if the defense is able to react to it.
Offensively, there's not much that these Calgary Stampeders can do. That first half, they did just about everything well. But there was one play that just threw me off a little bit. And when Bo Levi Mitchell, when he goes to the sideline, he watched this play, I guarantee you he's mad at his receiver. When the quarterback is in the huddle and he says, I'm going to throw you the ball, the one thing he wants his receiver to do is just fight for the ball. The worst case scenario on this play should be that it's an incomplete pass. And not picking on Parker, but right there, he either makes that catch or it's incomplete pass. He can't allow Emmanuel Davis to intercept the ball right there. Because I guarantee you, Bo Levi Mitchell, when he's dropping back, he's going to say, hey, Parker, you didn't fight for me. So now I'm not going to throw you the ball. I need my receivers to fight for me. If you want to do that, I'll give you an opportunity to make plays.
I tell you, for the most part, though, for the Stampeders on defense, too, inspired football early on against Zach Collaros and that offense. And how about Brett Maher for Hamilton with those long kicks? Well, Bo Levi Mitchell, we've been talking about him. We're going to hear about winning from Bo himself, the way it's been his entire football life. We'll be back.
The 7 route on the route tree is an intermediate route. When run by an inside receiver, the depth is 14 to 16 yards. When run by a wide receiver, the depth is 18 to 21 yards. Another term for this route is the dig.
2nd and 9, the rush, Durant, it's a touchdown.
As with most routes, the dig route can have several types of releases and stem possibilities versus man-to-man or cover one scenarios. The consistent part of the route is the stem at the top of the route. This involves a couple of steps to the post, which opens the hips of the defender, and once this is achieved, the receiver is taught to break flat across the field. It's important not to drift, as this allows defenders to undercut the route. When working against zone coverage, as always, it's extremely important to get your proper depth as quickly as possible. For inside receivers, it's paramount to get past the depth of the linebackers and underneath coverage. The quarterback will then throw the receiver open into the small windows that appear in the zone coverage. This 7 route, or dig, is one of the most challenging throws quarterbacks have to master. It can also be one of the most rewarding and fun to execute.
There's a completion over the middle. Arsenault's got the catch.
Halftime in Hamilton, the Stampeders leading the Ticats 22-9. Another good half for Calgary QB Bo Levi Mitchell. In the history of the CFL, no quarterback has won so much so soon as Mitchell has. And it goes back before, to high school days, to college as well. Here's what winning means to him and how he prepares for it in his own words.
They're finding out who they are right now. We're going to continue to show that to them. Play high school football in Katy, Texas, you learn one thing. When excellence becomes tradition, greatness has no limits.
4th down and throw it as far as you can. Door is there. It's touchdown.
I was 29-1 in high school. I won a national title in college.
Mitchell to the end zone. Kaufman, touchdown! Eastern Washington captures the FCS National Championship.
And I am a Grey Cup champion. Everything that I do, from ping pong to video games to any sport involving a ball, I love to win. And it goes so much deeper. When I approach anything in life, I ask myself, what does it take not to lose? Instead of what does it take to win? It's my obsession. Winning is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be work. Relentless, consistent preparation. I don't want my teammates to hear it. I want them to see me.
Mitchell throwing open man. Puts Calgary on top. Going to take one shot. Going to air it out deep against the wind, and it's a jump ball.
Because with one drive to go, with the ball in my hands, I expect to perform. I don't ever want to hear people say, oh yeah, Bo has a great arm, or Bo just makes plays with his feet. I want them to say, Bo is a winner.
Throws on the run into the end zone.
messages is gold.
Is there anything Bo Levi Mitchell can't do? The guy knows winning.
It's not about making statements to the league or anybody else. It's about making statements to ourselves that we are who we know we are, winners.
Well, as you can see, from Bo Levi Mitchell himself, this is just ingrained in him right from the start.
And you have to love it. Some people may say he's cocky, but I don't believe that. This man puts in work. He's first to leave, first in, last to leave. He's on the field working hard, and his players feed off it. You have to love it. You may not like it, Jock. You may not like his attitude, but I love it.
Sometimes I think he takes it a bit far, but I love the competitive spirit. It's what all great football players have, is that desire to win.
Classic case last week, 15 seconds to go, and they drive down for that winning field goal against Winnipeg. Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stampeders leading the way right now to 22-9 in Hamilton. Second half coming up here on TSN. Part two of our doubleheader today. Coming up later tonight from BC plays in Vancouver, the Lions second in the West. And they are hosting the Ottawa Redblacks, who lead the East Division, the only team in the division above 500. Halftime in Hamilton, Ticats chasing the Redblacks in the standings, and they're down against Calgary. Here's Jock with the stats.
Well, here's something that's not a surprise. 224 yards passing for Mitchell. This is a bit of a surprise, only 14 yards rushing with the leading rusher. Hey, Hamilton, keeping pace with the first downs, 8 versus 9. This is a close football game. Hamilton with a chance to come back.
Thanks to some big field goals, but here's Bo Levi Mitchell now with Matthew Shinetti.
Bo, strong start to the half, strong finish to the half. What do you have to do to carry that into the second half?
Man, just go out there and see the film. Continue to do what we do. You know, just I think everybody on the field is seeing things well. Offense, defense, special teams. You know, we're getting good returns. They're getting good returns. Everybody's getting good field position. You know, we just got to find a way on offense to keep finishing drives and keep putting up points.
We saw your teammates commit that ball, the touchdown pass to Tavares, to Renee Hill, Mylan's mother. Take us through this week, especially take us through that conversation she had with the team.
Man, it was the strongest woman I've ever met. You know, at the memorial, she came over there and talked. She just kept talking about, you know, how Mylan was talking down to her, saying, I'm good, I'm good. You know, y'all go out there and smack pads. And that's the one thing she said. And to hear her mother say that, man, when she's going through, man, it got us ready to come out here and play a football game. I was ready that day to play a football game. So, Mylan, you know this one's for you, man. We love you.
Thanks, Bo. My condolences. Appreciate it.
Well put by Bo Levi Mitchell. And well played on the field, too. A couple of touchdown tosses and a lead by 13 points with the second half kickoff at Tim Hortons Field coming up here on TSN.
Back ready for the second half here in Hamilton. 22-9 the score for the Calgary Stampeders, looking to extend their win streak to 11, their undefeated streak to 13. Kent Austin upstairs today. Orlando Steinauer on the sideline is with Matthew Shinetti.
Coach, what did you and Coach Austin discuss at halftime?
Coach basically talks to the offense, basically defensively. It's simple. Too many explosions. We got to knock the ball down. That's it.
In terms of what you're feeling on the sidelines, in terms of your role today, in terms of interacting with the defense, is it taking away at all from with time with your guys?
Not at all. Not at all.
Thanks, Coach O.
Thank you.
All right. Getting ready for this second half. We have not seen Zach Collaros on the sideline for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, well, he took that crushing blow on one of the last completions in the first half there.
Based on that, we're going to see Jeremiah Masoli, a quarterback right now, who's getting the signals straight. The speaker's in his helmet listening to upstairs. And so Masoli's going to be the quarterback now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We'll try to get an update from Matt as we find out. The second half underway here. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats have to play comeback. Brandon Banks follows a couple of blockers. And Zach Collaros not in the saddle for the second half. The third quarter, Jeremiah Masoli. And maybe this is the reason we're not seeing Collaros.
Charleston Hughes coming off the edge.
64 is eligible.
His arm landed awkwardly. Don't know if it was his arm or his leg, but again, keep in mind he's coming back off of ACL surgery. Here's Masoli's numbers, 3-3 this season, filling in for Collaros.
He's a freewheeler, this kid. Ball security is going to be paramount for him in the second half, as with any quarterback, but he can sling it.
Michael Ford now, zigging and zagging, thrown down by Singleton, but does pick up half the first down yardage. And again, not many running plays for the Cats in the first half. So it'll be second and looks like manageable, maybe 4 yards to go here.
Yeah, Black, we talked about it there at the end of the half, a token run by the Ticats and misleading stat into the record books because they really didn't try to establish a line of scrimmage. But with Mazzoli, maybe they think it's important now.
So Masoli in the gun. Jeremiah Masoli out of Ohio State. And that's knocked down.
That's Singleton
again. And all he has done is make plays since he's taken over as middle linebacker for the Calgary Stampeders this season.
Yeah, watch him. He's right in the middle of the line, running a weak A gap, coming off the left side of Filer. And he's not going to get there, and he just drops back off in the coverage, spying the quarterback, gets his hands up. We saw it in the first half. That is design play.
Looks like maybe even Quinn Smith got a mid on it. Maher, wow, what a boot here. One of his longest punts of the season. Nice cut there by Finch. Swallowed up at the 22-yard line.
I mean, my knee's hurting when that guy makes cuts. He is fun to watch, Black. He is. This guy had a heck of a first half. You heard Orlando Steinhardt talking about too many explosives, and that's big plays from the Calgary Stampeders. Got to defend, make plays. Bo Levi push it down the field, checked it down, went deep. Just kind of had his way with the Ticat defense.
Tavares Daniels, 2 touchdown catches. Stamps lead the Canadian Football League in making big plays. Had some big ones there in the first half. Jerome Messam tripped up. Still picked up about half the first down yardage. Here's the first half for Jerome Messam.
I like this. Lower the shoulders, go north-south, punish him. Out of the backfield underneath, get what you can. Screen, little escort. Punish him.
Mitchell, quick hitter, first down. And it's Kamar Jordan, former Bowling Green Falcon.
Can you remember calling his name, Rod, prior to like a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, seriously. I mean, they're just like pulling him out of a hat.
Well, made his debut a couple of years ago, but really hasn't been seen since.
Yeah, and been buried on the practice roster. And when his time's called, he stepped up to the plate in a big way last week and contributing in another big way today.
5 catches, 60 yards for Jordan. Play action again, another cutting route, and another catch for Jordan. His 6th, the penalty flag on the far side of the field. Did someone jump? Looks like it's against the Stampeders.
Illegal formation, Calgary, no end. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the master goes back to work. Dave Dickinson on that sideline, a Canadian Football Hall of Famer as a quarterback, now his first season as a head coach. And it was tough for the first game. They lost, and since that time, Patty, they haven't lost under Dave Dickinson.
Special career he had, and he was a surgeon out there, and he's managing his team like one right now.
Here comes the blitz. There goes the ball. Simone Charbonneau-Campeau has his 11th reception. And Dave Dickinson, by the way, the Football Hall of Fame is here in Hamilton. It will be part of this stadium, as a matter of fact. There is Dave Dickinson's likeness.
Yeah, he looks so unassuming when he's out of uniform, and certainly in uniform too, and even on the sidelines, just he looks more like an accountant than a quarterback in the Canadian Football League and a Hall of Famer. But well, he would just slice and dice you, and like you weren't even there, like a hot bite through knife through butter, and he was just special.
Tavares Daniels high stepping now, And Daniels has a big run as they brought everybody left side, and he just ran behind the wall.
Yeah, and most everybody's in close proximity to the line of scrimmage here. You can see all the Ticats. They get outflanked. They're kind of flat-footed, and they don't see the misdirection. By the time they do, Daniels is off to the races. Another well-designed, another indication of Dave Dickinson working his magic, slicing and dicing in so many ways.
Daniels just 23 years old. Some time with some NFL teams. They go to him again, and he's wrapped up near the first down marker by Johnny Adams. Adams in his first game as a Ticat again on that corner has already been burned by Davaris Daniels earlier. And there's Pops. Davaris Daniels, former NFLer and a coach as well.
I mean, 15 years in the National Football League in the interior defensive line, Rod, and to have a wide receiver as a son with basically similar size, you know, and his physical prowess, that's just good stock. And it's got to be everything that his dad has, he has, and there they are in the stands enjoying what their son's been able to do, and how he's filling in nicely here. Calgary offense.
His dad had 62 career sacks. Mitchell, a lot of steamboats, looking, end zone for Durant. Couldn't lay up for that, but the poise of Bo Levi Mitchell and the protection he is getting from his O-line today.
Yeah, he's just going to be, he's right up top here, and it's a one-on-one situation, scramble mode. Durant's going to try to go up, deep goes shallow, get there. Bo tries to spot it, just misses it.
Mitchell go to here. Normally it's Marquay McDaniel on second down, but Davaris Daniels has been the guy. The Stamps are throwing a challenge flag here.
Yeah,
Dave Dickinson's throwing a challenge flag,
and I can see why. He feels like that Durant was possibly interfered with.
Calgary is challenging that there was illegal contact on their #1 player. We'll review the player.
And that #1 player is Lamar Durant.
We'll step aside and get the verdict when we come back to the Hammer. Well, we might have DPI here. Here is the decision.
After review, we have illegal contact. Hamilton #24. 10-yard penalty. It'll be a first down.
We had a little side bet, and we both were in agreement that that likely was DPI.
Took house money right there. That was easy to see. Don't want to officiate for you, but and the replay is clear that Cassius Vaughn was impeded the receiver down the field a couple of times.
So down into the red zone go the red and white. Again, the Ticats load up the box. Mitchell goes over the top, and Marquay McDaniel lunging. They're saying he's down at the 1-yard line.
Heck of an effort by Marquay McDaniel. Nice throw on the money in stride, which allows him an opportunity to extend for the goal line. Coming left to right. Give it to him.
They're lining up quickly here. Bo Levi Mitchell. And there's a sure bet. Jerome Messam from there. That's money. And Messam has another touchdown. His 11th on the season, 10th rushing touchdown.
You, dog. We love you, baby. God but not forgotten, baby. We love you, Marlon. Let's go, baby.
And a tribute to their teammate, Mylon Hicks.
So walk in as he just slides to an opening on his left-hand side, and Sermons is no match. Doesn't even want to stick his helmet in there.
3-1. Mylon Hicks' number.
That speaks for itself, Jerome. Letting your pads and your play do the talking for you today, and that's a wonderful thing. Tribute your teammate.
Jerome Messam, in fact, reached out to Simone Lawrence this week.
Extra point is good. 8:15 left in the third quarter.
Stampeders have another touchdown on an emotional day, I am sure. Jerome Messam, the latest Calgary Stampeder touchdown.
Yeah, look at all this. Look at all these guys over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're flattening out the defense on that side. Cote gets a key block right there on the inside. Creates a crease. Leaving Jerome Messam with a couple of smaller DBs on the outside. And they're not willing to take on the big man.
Well, the Hamilton Tiger Cats find themselves behind by 20. Try a reverse here. And still romping is Cassius Vaughn up near the 45-yard line on the reverse. Well, Jeremiah Masoli comes back out at quarterback here. What is the story with Zach Collaros? Let's go down to Matthew Shinetti.
Right now, Rod, I'm hearing it is an upper body injury, but we don't know whether or not Collaros is out for the game just yet. He's still inside Tim Hortons Field. I'm hearing he is in some pain, but he hasn't been ruled out for this game right now. Back to you, Rod.
All right, we're going to get a further update. So Kent Austin, it looks like, will have to use and go to Jeremiah Masoli, who, by the way, has been in this position before. This is not new to Masoli. He is the guy, but that ball is a wobbler thrown in the far side. Let's take a look at the injury again and see if you can spot anything what might have happened.
Oh, I can tell you what happened. He got caught by Charleston Hughes right here, and his arms are down, and he gets buried on his right shoulder. And that's happened to me a ton of times, particularly on screens, and in that situation, it's very vulnerable. And he was wrapped and taken to the ground and pinned and stuck there. And when you're laid on the shoulder like that, things often break.
Well, we are not sure about any of that. We are sure he is done for the day. We're hearing from the sideline. And another incomplete pass, another 2 and out for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, making this day even more difficult. 29-9 the score. The Calgary Stampeders now laying it on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. There's a former Cat, Brandon Boudreau.
We saw that guy get extremely hot. I believe it was in Edmonton earlier in this season. And
he has to do that again.
Yeah, he does. And he's got to do it quickly.
In fact, had a CFL record, 23 straight completions. Hamilton's inability to score a touchdown is really hurting them today, though. 3 field goals, not getting it done. This guy gets it done, it seems, every night, every day, every game. Has the lead again. Touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. That's why they're the best in show right now. Well, your next HBO obsession is here, Matt Dunnigan. Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins stars in the highly anticipated sci-fi drama where dreams become reality. Westworld series premiere tomorrow at 9, only on HBO Canada. Indeed, it has been a Westworld in the Canadian Football League this year. That's that your
Anthony Hopkins? Oh, man. Oh, yeah. He freaks me out.
Yes, Clint East. 7 minutes to go, third quarter. All Stamps right now. Torrey Harrison getting a touch now.
Yeah, I tell you, giving Messam is just pounding out there and giving a little break. A little Harrison. I like to mix up, a little change of pace. Kind of like a pitcher. Giving you a change of speeds. Bringing the heat, a little off speed. It's exactly what the 1-2 punch Jerome Messam and Torrey Harrison's all about.
Well, that is literally thunder and lightning, is it not? Jerome Messam is both thunder and lightning. And the play clock comes down.
Time count violation.
Oh, man.
Number 19. 5-yard penalty.
I mean,
remains second down.
A lot of things go into what could happen and why a time count actually unfolds. But as a quarterback, it just drives you nuts. It's hard to swallow. That is a pet peeve for most of them, and that's twice already for Bo Levi.
Not many hiccups today for Bo Levi Mitchell, though. Not many blemishes at all.
Perfectionist, that'll eat at him for a long time.
Here comes that blitz again. Dances out, chucks it. and has another complete pass to Kamar Jordan.
Yeah, and he makes a nice circus catch here because it's not, I mean, Bo did a great job of avoiding, stepping up in the pocket, and finding his receiver, Jordan, and watch him come back to it. He keeps working for him. He knows Bo's keeping it alive, and then he goes out, goes down low, secures it. I mean, a couple things there. One, the ability to extend the play, and two, the ability to finish the play by that young man, Jordan.
6 grabs, 69 yards for Jordan. Limited role this season. Coming up big today. Little screen now for Messam. Makes a miss. Messam again. Jerome Messam. And a penalty flag flying, but Jerome Messam, whether it's running it or running it after catching it, is almost impossible to stop today.
Oh, this is beautiful. Bo Levi just times this pass perfectly to Messam out of the backfield. He one-hands it like he's Josh Donaldson at third base, and this is just absolutely gorgeous. Look, ball's out.
Illegal block. Calgary number 88. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
But that will come back.
It's too bad. Too bad. As well-executed play. Jerome Messam to make it look easy. This guy's having a phenomenal season. 11 touchdowns in 14 games this season. Messam in his first 90 games, 6 CFL seasons, 6. He had 14 touchdowns combined. He's got 11 in 14 games already this year.
He scored 11 touchdowns this year, some of them highlight reels, but the one that he just scored is probably one he'll never forget. And it only came from 1 yard out. There he goes again. Jerome Messam, because that touchdown was ultimately important in a very difficult week. And Jerome Messam will go to the sideline now.
Yeah, he's still tired after those 2 plays. I mean, that was just a beautiful run right there. A lot of help. People continuing to block downfield. Marquay McDaniel staying with it. Durant staying with it. Randy Richardson out there helping him. Jerome makes his way to the sidelines, and now it's Harrison's time.
What a season he's having. It certainly has to be considered a candidate for most outstanding Canadian. They'll keep it on the ground for Torrey Harrison.
That's a good look at the different abilities of both backs right there. He saw Torrey press the hole quickly and then bounce it. And watch how he presses the hole here, press it and then bounce. Now it's speed, outflanks the defense, cuts it up, picks you up a quick 8.
Harrison stays in, and maybe that second effort.
Whole lot of talking going on down there, plus a whole lot of pads slapping and smacking.
As Renee Hill, Mylon Hicks's mother said, and the players talked about, that was Mylon's thing. On button and also get out there and smack pads, and there's been some pad smacking.
Yeah, that's what coaches listen for in practice, certainly in games. Pad level is critical, and right there the Hamilton Tiger Cats won that battle against the Stampeders. Their pad level was lower and forced a 3rd and 1.5 situation. Mavers back to punt, but I'm not buying it.
Well, he's so good at the coffin corner, and this is a beauty.
Gold.
Rob Maver. 7th kick inside the 10-yard line this season.
It's money.
Long field again for the Cats. Long odds right now, down 20.
17 years of doing this, and Rod, 14 years of playing pro ball, and 3 years of coaching, and I never get tired of it. I never get tired of the talk, of the communication, the spontaneity of what comes out of your teammates' mouths. And some of it is just, you can't repeat, but most of it, in fact.
Or you better censor.
But it is absolutely.
Microphones are very good, by the way, these days.
Yeah, they are, and it is a big part of the game, and what makes it so fun is communication that goes on there in so many different forms.
Jeremiah Masoli will continue to operate at quarterback for the duration of this game and maybe longer. This is what he does very well. He can scamper, and he scrambles pulls out for a first down. And again, back to the Zach Collaros story. Collaros coming back from ACL surgery, 3-4 record this season, and of course he is their #1 guy. Masoli kept the car warm for Zach Collaros until he came back, and you wonder if Collaros is going to be able to drive the car again.
Well, I'm not going to speculate, but I can just tell you with those hits, and when Charleston Hughes, the one he laid on Zach Collaros, and what it looked like to me, that looks like a shoulder injury of some sort, and let's just hope it's not too severe.
Tiger Cat team reeling from a number of injuries. Masoli goes to that far side.
Oh, come on.
That is another drop, and that's a couple today for Terrence Tolliver.
You've got to be locked in and better in this when you're trying to claw back in front of your home team, trying to get a critical win in the East, and this is a ball. Everybody's got to pick up the slack of Zach Collaros being not in the lineup at this point. You got to pick up your young quarterback, and that's not getting it done.
Tolliver, who could get to 1,000 yards this season. So we approach the 4th quarter of the season.
Yeah, Terrence Tolliver. I mean, there's Ken Austin's reaction to Tolliver's performance thus far. 2 catches plus 2 drops today.
He's a guy who scored 7 touchdowns in 9 games. Got to catch the rock. Masoli now in trouble. Looked like a face mask. Masoli now, free play if he wants. Lets it fly. Picked off, but this is coming back, and that will not be an interception by Joshua Bell. There was clearly a face mask, unless they got a hold in that backfield. And this will be a 15-yarder. Masoli knew it too as he threw that away.
Face mask. Calgary number 39. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So maybe the Ticats can get a spark here late 3rd quarter. They're still very much in this ball game.
Charleston just kind of got outflanked there and threw his left hand up, and inadvertent, but that's been a word kicked around the Ticat organization this week.
Yes, it has.
But it's clear that it's a foul, and he's called on it, and Mazzoli's got a free play.
Here's the definition of inadvertent, though. Yes, it's inadvertent, but even if it happens, it still happened. And an inside pitch. John Childs only gets about 5 or 6.
Yeah, and note to self, everybody's pursuing the football as they're taught to do on the defensive side of the football. Do not slow down in the hole. You're going to take one right in the ribs, and he did on that play. Excellent pursuit by the Calgary Stampeders, who continue to stay hungry with a 20-point lead against Hamilton, trying to play 4 quarters of football, which has been their nemesis all year if they've had one at all.
Stamps, when they lead after 3, are 8-1 on the season. Andy Fantuz is going to get close to a first down. We'll have to see where the spot is. It looks like it is favorable. It will be a new set of downs for Hamilton. So they're trying to get some points here, and you never know what can happen, but it's going to happen with this guy, Jeremiah Masoli.
I love the way Andy's attacking the game, and he's having a great year. He's just a special football player. He's had a highlighted career. I fell in love with him when he broke his ankle and kicked it back into place and got up and hobbled off the field. It was beautiful.
There's an inside pitch again, this time to Brandon Banks, and Banks will step out of bounds. First down, it goes over the signage. Get some help from a fan over there.
Yeah, who are those guys?
Yeah.
00 guys.
00 guys helping him out. That's 3 quarters. Hamilton Tiger Cats trying to pull off a stunning comeback and upset if they can, but it's been all Stampeders stomping through 3 on the day that they remember Mylan Hicks. Well, 29-9. It's not an unassailable comeback at all for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but the furthest they've ever gotten into Calgary territory is down to the 36-yard line, and they can't get it done if they don't get a little closer and try to find some touchdowns.
Yeah, that's not very deep penetration right there at all consistently for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I can tell you this, that this football team had no intentions of establishing a line of scrimmage with only 26 yards rushing to this point. Down 20 now, that's out the window. Mazzoli's going to have to do it by air, and they have to do it quickly if they want a home victory.
Picture sort of says it all for the Hamilton Tiger Cats here in the Hammer. Full house here today at Tim Hortons Field. Zach Collaros now out of the game, and we're not sure for how much longer.
If they try to hand the ball off now and run the football, I'm gonna go down there and slap somebody.
6 receiver set. They go over the top again. Tears a big cutback. Here's the thing. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have had a few comebacks as well this season, are going to have to try to do what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers did to Calgary last week, and you know that's still in Calgary's kitchen.
Yeah, it is, and this guy is making sure that they remember that. It's his 10th catch of the day. He's having a game. Anybody else has got to follow Andy Fenn to his suit right now.
Masoli tosses on the far side. Spencer Watt hangs on. They're going to give him about 5 or 6 yards.
Doesn't look like much, but I like the way he came back to that football because that's a long throw. Watch how Mazzoli just kind of flicks it out here. Off balance, not going to his target. Momentum moving away. And Watt helps him out and secures the catch.
Again, a 3-possession game. The Cats could make it very interesting if they can find the house. Stamps. Rushing it. Masoli tucking it. Down he goes. But after the first down, and Jeremiah Masoli, when he is flushed, finds ways to create openings. Couple of good moves right there from Masoli.
And that's an aspect he brings to the table. We saw it last week on that quarterback sneak, 21 yards, outran the defense to the end zone. Gonna need a lot of that.
Ole Miss product out of Oregon. Jeremiah Masoli.
What a comeback, Brandon.
Brandon Banks trying to make an impact in this game.
Kind of a little stop route, you know, just push the defender out of his break and just sit on it.
This is the furthest they've gotten downfield. First time in the red zone for the Cats, trying to get to the end zone for the first time. And they're doing it with Masoli at the helm. Confusion there.
My man Terrence Campbell.
And they had some motion.
Procedure. Hamilton number 60. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Making his third start here, Terrence Campbell. Right next to him, you got Brandon Revenberg. I talked to Mike Filer about it yesterday, and he loves those two guys and what they bring to the table. Very athletic, very young crew on that left-hand side. And they're playing extremely well. Going to have to protect Jeremiah Mazzoli and put some points on the board here quickly, start clawing back into this.
Well, the go-to guy has been Andy Fantuz all day long. Mazzoli first and goal, essentially. Mazzoli now going for the corner route, and Bell down there. Tolliver. No flags. It's going to be 2nd and goal, 2nd and 15.
Yeah, Rod, watch the free safety. Mazzoli just telegraphs this throw, and from the beginning I'm saying, uh-oh, just watch this man right here. Watch, he's going to go, and he's going to drift right away because Mazzoli's eyes takes him that way. He just starts running there. Get there now. Because he's telegraphing it, and if that ball is on the money, it's going the other way.
Cats have any hope in this game, they've got to get to the end zone. Soli, low catch, incomplete. Looking for Junior Collins. Well, again, field goals aren't getting it done here.
No, that's pressure up the middle. Credit the big boys for making Mazzoli get rid of this football quicker than he wanted to. They're working in the middle, coming on a nice little twist, and you see 98, Brandon Boudreaux coming on a twist right through the A-gap, untouched, forcing the throw by Jeremiah Mazzoli, and he couldn't spot it where he wanted to. Solid defense by the Stamps.
They're playing 3-down football now, and they're going for it. And again, all they've been able to muster are field goals today. You might as well. But if you didn't get to the goal line, you're turning it over. 5-man rush. Masoli slinging it. Picked.
Well, I mean, that doesn't hurt you. You know, he doesn't hurt you at all there. It just takes a stat off the board for you. Defensively, you're going to turn the football over on downs because they couldn't convert. Calgary's in a good situation and stymies Hamilton's offense.
Matt Buckner, former Cat. Incomplete pass. Didn't matter. Was 3rd down. We'll be back. Not a good sign for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Zach Collaros, and moving forward, of course, they have a big back-to-back with the Ottawa Red Blacks, then Edmonton, and then Montreal. And a loss today, and it's starting to look like a loss, drops them to 6-8 in that battle in the East. Tomorrow, the Argonauts have Montreal. Later today, the Ottawa Red Blacks in BC, and the East is such a mosaic right now, a jumble. 9-9 might get you first place.
Well, just keep an eye on that race with Winnipeg, Edmonton, BC. Crossover is looming large, and Harrison limps off, and Jerome's going to get back in the ball game, start adding on to his stellar performance.
Mitchell still throwing the ball, looking for Daniels once more.
That's well played by Johnny Adams, the field side corner. One practice into the ball game already. He read that. He read the offense's mail and attacked and arrived right on time as the ball got there.
So a quick 2 and out, and this is going to work out for the Cats, who turned the ball over on downs.
Yeah, they just had a 7-minute drive for 0 points. They need to start capitalizing here quickly.
Well, they could use a little Brandon Banks magic right about now.
Nice punt.
Banks will keep it near side. Good field position. Starting point for Jeremiah Masoli. Collaros is out. Stamps up by 20 points. Well, the Ryder Cup yesterday looked like a rout early on for Team USA. Right now in Hazeltine, it's 6.5, 6.5. Set for a thriller tomorrow for the singles matches on TSN. Hamilton fans holding out hope here. Still plenty of time, but they're going to have to find a way to do something they haven't been able to do all day.
Got to crank up that steam whistle, get that thing going.
Not been able to get to the end zone. Calgary's defense has been stout and stingy. Masoli to Andy Fantuz.
He's having a career in this one game.
Yes, he is. Almost a dozen catches now for Fantuz. Another first down. Last week, 9 catches, 113 yards, and again, for the first time in 26 straight, got over 100 yards.
I trained with Andy Fantuz, and I can tell you from a quarterback's perspective, he's easy to read. It's because he's a clean route runner. Easy body movements to pick up on, and you see the ball thrown with a lot of timing when Andy Fantuz is on the other end.
Masoli in trouble. Wisely throws it away. Coming back to the ball in the area was Childs. So Masoli wisely got rid of that. Was looking Fantuz's way again. You mentioned Fantuz, of course, trying to make it in the NFL, the former Rider, and of course played his
Joshua Bell coming untouched, free safety, snuck up on the line of scrimmage, sticking his nose in the middle of things.
Right in Masoli's grill. Fantuz, of course, from the area.
Yep.
Western Mustang, Chatham, Ontario.
11 catches for 104 already.
They'll need him some more here. They change the play. Masoli's in trouble once more. Duron Mayos chasing him down.
And Oh, man.
That was a dangerous toss looking for Tolliver.
It's hard to throw accurately and with any distance when you're
trying to save your life.
Yeah, I mean, he's right here and he's coming right off the edge. And watch Mazzoli, I'm going to say it, get on your horse, and he's going to just start scooting for all he's worth right here. And then he's got to abort.
How about Tom Valese getting out of the way there? They will boot this, and this is off the side of Mahar's foot. A one hopper.
That looked like an onside player.
Yes. And we'll sort this out. Ball was bouncing. They certainly played it. Shane Herbert.
Yeah, they got a couple onside players here, Rod, and this is by design, and they're trying to field this, and that's why he touched the ball first, because he was allowed to, as the rules call it. Ball's punted, and an onside player can go down there and recover it.
And they're saying, you can see the officials saying, yes, they were onside. So likely no flags here.
There's no flag on the play as Hamilton #1 was onside. First down, Calgary.
Long field again. Time running out, though, as the clock is draining out. Calgary Stampeders about to make some history today. Here's a look again.
Yeah, you just watch these fellas right up here, and they're going to be onside once the ball is punted. And you're going to watch. He's going to. Yeah, all three of those players are onside, so they're all three legally allowed to go recover this, and that's what he's trying to do.
No.
Unfortunately, Hamilton can't come up with the big play. They're trying to create here, and that's a good way to do it. It would have given them tremendous field position, desperately trying to claw back into this game with 8:19 on the clock, down 20. They don't want to look 6 and 8 in the face right now.
No, that's what they are looking at, and the Calgary Stampeders looking to stretch this unbeaten streak to a record 13 games. Herbert will hobble off and will step aside. Back on the Raptors. Kevin Durant as a Golden State Warrior.
That's just sick.
That's coming up tonight, and there's Shane Herbert being attended to on the sideline. Long field again for the Calgary Stampeders. 8 minutes away from making it 11 straight wins. And Bo Levi Mitchell still throwing. Looking for DeVaris Daniels. Dad in the house.
Yeah, the ball just seemed like it wouldn't get. There's a flag on the play.
And
could be roughing.
Yeah, right where Bo Levi Mitchell was splashed.
Hamilton #37. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
There, here we go. And here's the culprit right there. And it's unfortunate. Will Smith, first-year player from Texas Tech. High hit on Bo Levi Mitchell. Back in my day, that's all day. That's well within the rules now. Not so much.
That is the first time that someone has laid a hand on Bo Levi Mitchell, though, all day.
He's only been sacked 13 times this year.
And no sacks today and very little pressure. He's had his way. There's a penalty flag on this play.
The ball was errant on the end of that throw, and you can understand why, because he had Will Smith breathing down his neck.
Offside. Hamilton #5. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
First time Adrian Tracy's name been called all game. That's a sign of just how much Bo Levi Mitchell and his cast of characters have had their way with the Hamilton Tiger defense.
Stampeder team that's had to deal with so many injuries, and then this week having to deal with a tragedy unspeakable. Finding a way to win one and really dedicating the rest of this season to Mylan Hicks. And Jerome Messam was there that night in Calgary and was very close with Mylan Hicks. So many of these players, again, a guy who didn't get a chance to play in a game but was certainly on the roster and certainly a big part of the team. And Dave Dickinson was proud of the way that his organization has been able to handle this week with class and professionalism.
I didn't know how the team is going to react, and from what we've seen here, 54 minutes of play, it's been pretty special.
Look out now. Jerome rumbling. at the 55-yard line by his ex-teammate in Edmonton, his good buddy, Simone Lawrence. And Messam slow to get up.
He's just taking a breather. He's having a heck of a night. Wearing out this Ticat defense. He catches the ball all by himself after a nice design and play fake in the backfield. Just freezes the Ticat defense, and he's got all kinds of grass in front of him with nobody out there. And Simone catches up to him late, not after he gained about 25.
6 minutes to go here. 1st and 10 once more.
Finch.
Roy Finch getting a carry here. Torrey Harrison was hurt. You saw him, and Finch, who used to play a little tailback, is a little guy. Does a lot of returning.
He's incredibly shifty.
Former Oklahoma Sooner. Guy who played with the Ottawa Red Blacks back in 2014.
Calgary's had a real well-balanced attack here this afternoon and this evening. Spreading the ball around, keeping Hamilton in a rocking chair. Don't know whether to come up or go back, and it's paid off for him.
Mitchell again. Fires. Touchdown the other way. Daly. Mike Daly. Dean Light. Daly down the sideline. Looks like he's going to be pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and there still may be life in the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Derek Dennis, he was on his Clydesdale of a horse, and he got out there and forced Mike Daly out of bounds. Watch Daly in the middle of your screen. He's right here. Watch him push back and then break on the football. Again, the ball's in the air a long time. You see him just watching Bo Levi's eyes. He can't believe that ball was thrown. And it's off to the races.
And how about the big Hoggies coming downfield, doing some sprinting, able to knock Daly out of bounds and prevent the pick six.
Yeah, it's a great job by Mike Daly, and credit, just good solid work.
I'm telling you, hey, let's go. Hey, let's go.
His first pick of 2016, Mike Daly.
That's got to feel good. Good job. Well, that's keeping track. That's 2 for Calgary and now 1 for Hamilton. That's 3 too many as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, that gives Hamilton some life here. There's a lot of people file out of this stadium. It'll keep those that are here in their seats because Hamilton can light it up in a hurry. Plenty of time in this football game.
Send out 5 receivers, a quick hitter. Once again, it's Collins inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah.
4.5 to go.
He tries to put a move on my man Alex Singleton. Middle linebacker for Calgary after he catches the football here. I like it.
John Childs with the snare.
And then right there, Singleton gets underneath. Wins that battle.
2nd down and 7 from the 13. Soli has time. Caught by Fantuz.
Look at him fight.
Dragged down. Andy Fantuz is having his best game of the season.
Just showing a lot of heart, grit, determination. Andy Fantuz just lighting it up, doing everything he can from his position, giving the opportunities, making the most of it. Runs out of Brandon Smith's tackle and picks up a first down.
Fantuz has 12 catches in the game. The CFL record is 16. Arlan Bruce and Mookie Mitchell with those.
That move.
There he goes. He can walk in.
Oh, he just schooled Singleton on the edge.
And Jeremiah Masoli scoring the touchdown. Don't go anywhere yet. 3:52 to go. Ticats lining up here.
This is going to be crazy. The crazy move in space. Jitterbug. Watch him. Play fake. Out and around. And the move he puts on 49. Alex Singleton is just stupid. He's contained. And now he's not.
Well, Masoli, who scored last week, brought his team back and into the lead against Saskatchewan, ended up losing that game. So they'll stay on for the 2-point convert. Trying to make it a 12-point game. Masoli. There it is. Fantus.
Dude, he got those big mitts on. It looked like Mickey Mouse hands. They're so big in those white gloves. He just reaches back and just snares that thing.
It's 13 catches in the game for Andy Fantus, 3 short of a CFL record. And so now it still is a 2-score ball game.
Watch the Mickey Mouse hands. Whoop. Pull it in. Watch Singleton here just get shaken right out of his cleats by Masoli. Watch this. Spaghetti legs. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
I think he might have shook a lot of players.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we know it's on you, Alex, but not many people could have stood up to that move by Jeremiah Masoli. We know he's got some athletic ability. He pulled out a new trick right there. Got the Ticats much-needed points here late in this ballgame.
So finally, they find the end zone, plus a 2-point convert. And now it gets interesting.
And everybody's now starting to gather around the outside gates now.
Andy Fantus,
the hands team,
is going to kick this. Obviously been working on the short kickoffs. So Fantus. And caught by Calgary. Charbonneau Campo is gone.
Is he?
Touchdown. Onside kick. Touchdown. Calgary. Dagger. Ball game. There was nobody out there. Charbonneau Campo takes it the distance.
This is your worst nightmare in this situation. Opponent feels it cleanly. You miss a tackle, he's got a straight shot for the end zone, and he gets there. Wide receiver, 50-year player from Sherbrooke, making his living right now. Special teams, earned his paycheck.
Well, that will clear Tim Hortons Field now, just when the Cats were clawing back. Paredes, point after. And we talked about it before. Give Calgary 30 points or more, and they are unbeatable. They're going to move to 44-0 since 2012, scoring 30 or more. About to make it 11 straight wins.
Simone Charbonneau Campo getting it done here. Little trickery by the Ticats and Jeff Reinbold. Special teams, not so fast. Sherbrooke product taking it back the distance, outrunning Terrence Tolliver to the end zone, putting the dagger in the Hamilton Tiger Cats' hopes for a comeback. And Calgary's dominance over the Hamilton Tiger Cats over the past 10 games, they're 10-0. That's 14 out of the last 15. The last time Hamilton beat Calgary was in 2011. It's on September 25th. That nightmare continues.
Brandon Banks. All right, I'm going to send a challenge out to every CFL coach now.
Okay.
I don't think, and Wally Buono may be the winningest coach of all time. And of course, coach this guy, I don't think I could see Wally Buono doing this right here. Don't see too many head coaches. The little vertical.
Diggy about blew out a hip right there, too. He made me rethink that. He'll be in the training room. But that's a lethal combination right there. Those two are, just proving out. Listen to this.
And once he didn't do it, I was like, fuck, I got the ball out.
Oh, well, you don't want to listen to that.
Go back and look in the way.
Yeah, he stared down. He's talking about the interception he threw to Daly and staring it down. And that's the one he'll remember. As good as he's played, that's the one he'll remember. There it is. There it is. That's the play.
There's a play for Mylan Hicks by Jamar Wall.
That's it. They're still playing for him. I guarantee it. They're finishing out. They want to play, and they want to get used to sticking the dagger in people and not letting them back in the contest, and they're still balling.
And this one, a knockdown. Jamar Wall usually wears 29, wearing 31 for Mylan Hicks, who passed away, of course, last week in that tragic shooting. Throwing over the top. You know, I guess life is full of these lessons that unfortunately creep up on all of us, and you learn how precious life is. And that was really the takeaway from so many of the Stampeders, talking with them about the loss of a player, the loss of life, which pales in comparison to a game, of course. But sometimes when you have a teammate and a brother and something like that happens, it bonds you like nothing else.
Yeah, this is just a conduit for healing right now, the game of football, and I think that's all it is.
Look out, Roy Finch. Still going, and out of bounds. 2:20 to go. Been almost this indomitable force in that conversation with Bo Levi Mitchell and his quest for perfection. I mean, they're on their way to victory here, and he's still talking about the mistake that he wants to correct. Yeah. That's how champions are born.
Yeah, well, that's who he is. That's his makeup. I guarantee it, that is the makeup of everybody, whether it's in Ticat uniform or Calgary Stampede uniform. Those are competitors, and that's what you strive for, excellence, believing in the process, going on to the next play, not correcting your mistakes and getting better. And it is a constant push towards a team effort of being as good as possible every time out. And it's exemplified, obviously, the Calgary Stampeders record and what they've been able to do this year. And this streak is pretty silly.
Well, to get to 22, the record the Stamps set way back when, over 2 seasons. Here's the thing. This win today will make history as the longest undefeated streak within a season. They will take it to 13, a win streak to 11. As Drew Tate is getting some playing time right now. The question is, before this ball game, can anybody stop the Calgary Stampeders?
Well, it's not going to be the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Will it be the Toronto Argos next week? Will it be Montreal after that? Then Toronto and Montreal, they have Eastern opposition the rest of the way. And right now, there is no doubt the Calgary Stampeders are the class of the Canadian Football League.
And they paid homage and tribute to their fallen comrade in a big way this evening, and hats off to them, the entire organization.
Time now to give our Nissan Titan player of the game, brought to you by Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League, with Dad in the crowd. Tavares Daniels having himself a big game.
That was out of the gate. He just made his presence felt and known once again with his parents sitting in the stands. Gotta love that. Just feeling comfortable in this Calgary offense. Underneath, over the top, doesn't matter. Showing he's got the ability and the toughness to take those shots underneath and the speed to go deep. And Tavares Daniels is special.
Solely, Calgary's D still playing hard. Michael Ford getting, again, maybe his 3rd or 4th touch. So the Ticats, again, in the bye week, they have Ottawa back-to-back, then Edmonton and Montreal. And it gets tighter and tighter in the CFL East.
It's crazy, Rod.
And more looking like a crossover from the West.
Yeah, really. You watch those 3, Edmonton, Winnipeg, BC. Watch those 3 teams. One of them is going to cross. And Bo Levi Mitchell, hats off to his performance tonight. Fastest quarterback in the history of CFL to 40 wins in a career. Did it in 48 games. That's just silly. It's crazy.
A lot of consideration around the league for most outstanding player, but you tell me who else out there has had a better season than this guy.
Well, I can give you some names, but I don't want to take away from this guy's performance and the highlight and the focus we're putting on him right now. But Bo Levi has had a special season, and 40 and 48 is ridiculous. That is finding a way to win and being consistent every time out. And I'm proud for him because I know he puts in a lot of work, not only in the offseason, but every day. First in, last out, Bo Levi Mitchell earning his stripes.
You know, not the flashiest guy in the world, but I'll tell you what, where's that throwback number 19? As Fantunes gets another one. Johnny Unitas plays throwback old school football.
Yeah, and I like that period. any sport, right? That takes a little confidence to go along with his play, you know, and he's pulling it off. Of course, right now, this guy, that's a big concern for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats moving forward.
And he's in pain. You can see that.
Yeah, you know, he's in pain because his team lost and they're falling 6-8, but that right shoulder is a concern for everybody here in the Hamilton area.
Well, that's the thing for Hamilton, a season full of injuries as well, and maybe more self-doubt as well. They've been alternating wins and losses all year. They're going to have to go on a roll here. And the back-to-back with Ottawa is going to be critical.
It's not what you want to see. You're starting Sam strong side linebacker Joe Burnett being nicked towards the end of a ball game. Kind of all for naught. Game's in hand. A highlight note for the Ticats is Andy Fantus today. 14 for 127, 2 off the record. It's like, what? He's been on fire lately and he's having an all-star season.
Well, he might get it in these last 40 seconds. They'll take all those receptions back for a W. Oh my goodness. How did he get away? Absolutely. That is crazy stuff.
I love that.
There's a highlight reel play.
CFL at its finest right there, baby.
Let's see. David Copperfield escape act.
Yep.
A block for the ages.
Oh my goodness. Here's the whole play, right?
Ladder.
Here it is.
Okay, draw this up if you can.
Oh, no, we're taking it live. Spinorama. Houdini. I'm still running. Here comes the block. For his 15th catch, and then throw it back to Mazzoli as he runs over the last defender. That was what the CFL's all about.
Having said all that, it was in a loss. But still, what a play. What a play.
Here's Mazzoli. Here's Mazzoli finishing the play here. Take some of that.
So he throws a pass, gets a run, avoids a sack, and also gets...
He threw the pass to Fantus for his 15th of the night.
Exactly.
He's going for the record. He gets one more. He's got this last play of the game.
And he'll tie the CFL record.
Give it to him. Oh, he's not looking his way. He's not looking his way.
Mazzoli goes down. The Cats go down. The Calgary Stampeders will finish off a highly emotional ball game. Could not imagine what's going through all of their heads and their hearts. This one was from Mylan Hicks. They got another W. Zach Collaros out of the lineup. 11 straight wins. Undefeated in 13. Who will stop the Calgary Stampeders? 12-1-1. Final tonight, 36-17 in Hamilton. Good night, everybody. Doubleheader time tonight in the CFL. Here comes SportsCenter.